and welcome everybody to Season 14 of the XCFL's live Rookie Draft Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Season 14 XCFL Draft. I am your host, Nick Larson, and I'm here with my co-host, Justin Holland. Justin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing real well, man. How are you?
Not too bad, and I believe we have Coach Boone with us. Boone, are you available and on or not yet? Boone is not ready yet. He will be on shortly. He'll be joining us halfway through. Justin, exciting draft. It's the moment everybody waits for. You know, the playoffs are long. Half the teams aren't even in. What do you expect from this draft? What's your takeaway so far?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that, you know, this is kind of an interesting class. We talked about it already. It's not the deepest class, but it actually is deep at several positions. So it's kind of weird, you know, we don't have a spread out talent depth chart, so to speak, as we have had in years past. Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and pull up these. Our number one overall pick belongs to the Carolina Panthers. Let's go ahead and pull up their team needs here. We can kind of see what they're up to this offseason. They made a couple big moves, and Andre Clark, a wide receiver that got in a trade with Atlanta. They added Matt Barkley, who I believe is currently the only quarterback on their roster. They lost Keenan Allen, lost Kawan Short. So the main needs here are going to be quarterback, offensive line, and defensive line. Do you think Carolina goes with the quarterback here, and if so, which one?
Yeah, I think Carolina goes QB, and I think it's got to be Daniel West. Regardless of anything else on the board, the A-plus throw power. I mean, this guy could potentially come in with a 98 or 99, or I think 97 is actually the minimum for an A-plus threshold. So that's going to be a crazy pick for him up at the first. Well, on somebody that he needs desperately.
Yeah, I believe Carolina is getting that pick ready. The pick is actually in, and it is going to be that quarterback out of Georgia, Daniel West, the 22-year-old, 6'4", 228-pounder, and like you mentioned, that A-plus throw power, B short accuracy, B-minus mid accuracy. This guy did it all down there in the SEC. Our own Lou Riddick had him rated as a number 2 overall player on the board and the number 1 quarterback. So this is a great pick, in my opinion, for the Carolina Panthers. How about yourself?
Yeah, I absolutely love this pick. I mean, I don't really need to talk a whole lot about it because obviously, you know, I've already gone over. He's an A-plus throw power, which is going to be great to, you know, you don't need to build that at all. So it's going to be great to just be able to sit back, build his accuracy. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Phil has to offer with Daniel West.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to pick number 2, which is going to belong to the Cleveland Browns. This is one of our newer users, drafted a couple times up here in the top 7. I believe he has the 2nd pick and the 7th pick. Cleveland, you know, their main team needs here. You got no key additions. They're looking outside linebacker, cornerback. They're really shaping up that secondary with the safety. They lost Jamie Collins, which I know is a big loss for them. So they are going to try to fill. I think they're going to try to fill a need here at a linebacker, like you talked about earlier. Very deep linebacker class. Who do you see them going with in this pick?
So I would personally go with linebacker, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce this dude's last name, but Quaxia or whatever it is. I thank you, Madden, by the way, for giving us that name to pronounce on the show. Obviously, they don't think that people do these shows, but no, it's a really good, great linebacker core or linebacker class, I should say. And for a team that could obviously really use that help, this dude is like a can't miss. All across the board, fast, strong. I mean, he's unbelievable talent.
Yeah, that's the outside linebacker out of Ole Miss. He's a very solid player. They got a couple other needs, and, you know, they're a very young team, very talented roster. I believe they're getting their pick ready now, so we should have that for you in a little bit. The pick is in, and it is going to be the cornerback out of Stanford, Craig Clark. This guy is 6'2", 212, busted out a 4.32 40-yard dash. This guy is an absolute monster, and Lou Riddick's number 1 overall player in the entire draft. Justin, is Craig Clark, do you agree he's the best player in this draft?
I'm a little bit torn. I had him personally listed. He is in my top 10, but I didn't personally have him going that highly. I don't think that really any of these corners are worthy of the number 2 overall pick. I think that you could have gone elsewhere. And knowing that he's got the number 7 overall pick, I actually think that you could have gotten, you know, Clark or Coleman. I think there's actually 2 Colemans side by side.
Yeah, and they both spell their name without an E.
Yeah, and I think that you probably could have gotten either one of those 3 later. So I do think it's a little bit of a reach But if this dude turns out to be a stud, then obviously I'll be wrong.
Yeah, that 6'2", 4'3", 240 is awesome. With the B+ zone coverage, B- man coverage, this guy is definitely probably the best corner in the draft. And I mean, if they fill the need, this is a great pick for them. Maybe they think they can get that outside linebacker at 7. But with the third pick in the draft, we have the Cincinnati Bengals up. The Bengals is another, newer user too. So he gets a shot up here to draft one of his studs, and he can kind of build his franchise around. Their team, they added a very active offseason with them. They shipped away one of the 16 overall pick, I think, to the Texans for Ryan Ramczyk. They brought in Julio Jones to pair him with an A.J. Green, both very slow, older, reliable targets. But, he's been pretty vocal that he's thinking outside linebacker. And in this class, like we talked about, there's a bunch of them. In my opinion, the best guy available as outside linebacker has probably got to be Zach Cummings. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's the guy who goes here? Or we talked about Quaxia earlier. He could be the guy here as well.
Yeah, I know both of them, actually, I had very highly ranked. I personally like Quaxia.
That's how we're going to go with it. Yeah, we're
gonna roll with that.
Yeah.
He can't be here to defend himself anyway. So we're gonna go. I personally think that Quaxia is the better pick. I think that Cummings, though, really either one of them is a can't miss. But if it were me, I would rank Quaxia just a bit higher. I just feel like he's a little bit more of the well-rounded can't miss prospect.
So let's go ahead here. I think the pick is in. Not yet. Never mind. They're not in. Yeah, but I do think it comes down to outside linebacker. It's going to be Cummings or Quaxia here. Not a lot of other needs for him. I don't think you take a safety this high. And the pick is in. It is going to be Devin Quaxia out of Ole Miss, the outside linebacker, 23 years old, 6'3", 263. He's a 3-4 pass rusher with A- hit power. This guy is an absolute stud. Ran a 4.6, 240. He was crazy, 4.29 in the 20-yard shuttle. This is going to be one of those. This guy can come in day one and rush the passer and be that elite outside linebacker for him. Justin, what's your take? Good pick, bad pick?
Love it, and I hate to say it, but called it.
Yes, you did.
I honestly think that you're going to see here in the next probably 8 to 10 picks, you're going to see a run on left outside linebackers, because that is a deep class with a ton of talent up top.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pause the draft here for a quick second. Let our producer make his pick. But yeah, so let's move on here. We're going to go to never mind. We're going to unpause the draft here. We're going to go on to the number 4 pick. It is the Redskins, the most predictable team in the XCFL. We already know who he's going with. It is going to be a tall defensive back. It probably would have been Clark. Clark's gone. So I think, in my opinion, it will be Coleman, the other corner that you mentioned earlier. He fits Jack's player type perfectly. 6'4", 211 pounds, ran a 4.3, 540, and was electric in the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuttle. We'll talk about it more. But let's go to offseason needs here for the Redskins. They added Quentin Dunbar. I think they re-signed him. They traded away their defensive tackle, Taylor Powell, and then they actually sent Marshawn Hodges, their longtime first-round pick cornerback, to Green Bay, which I'm not too excited about because I have to play him now. But team needs here. Does Jack go with the corner I mentioned earlier here?
I think he does. I think he's done it 2 or 3 straight years in a row.
Yes.
But I think, more importantly, you just talked about it. He's gotten rid of some key losses. Marshawn Hodges was, I believe, 99 man and 99 zone or somewhere close to it. The guy's an absolute beast. So having to replace that is not going to be easy, but obviously you got to get a stud rookie to
Yeah, absolutely there. I think you cut out a little bit, but that's okay. Well, let's move on here to pick number 5. It is going to belong to the Chicago Bears. The Bears, key additions. Oh, shit, Washington. I forgot to mention who they picked. Their pick is in, and we are going to go, and it is Desmond Coleman without an E. And look at the man. He is 6'4", 23 years old. Look at the coverages, that B-man coverage, which Jack loves, 4.35 speed. Justin, talk a little bit about this prototype corner out of Texas A&M.
Yep. I mean, like you said, the biggest thing is the speed. To me, he's going to have that, even if he gets burned with a little bit lower coverage here in the first year of his career, or at least the first few games of his career. He's got that makeup speed. So I think it's a great pick by Jack. We've seen him, we all kind of give him crap about it at times, but hey, I mean, it's working out. He's obviously built his team to the way that he likes it. And I like it. I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, this is right down Jack's alley. Couldn't, predicted it perfectly. We're doing a lot better this year than we did last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, we were terrible at it.
Yes, we were. But we will move on here to pick number 5 now. It is the Chicago Bears. And where's their team needs? Boom, team needs. They added Kirk Cousins in the offseason. They let Mitch Trubisky, their rookie quarterback of the future, kind of walk in free agency, which I thought was very, very surprising. Normally kind of keep those guys a little bit longer. But team needs quarterback, which they got Kirk Cousins, so not a huge need. Guard and strong safety. Where do we see the Chicago Bears here? Do they go best player available, or do you see a certain position?
I would go best player available, but I think that I know that you just talked about Cousins, but I think that you need to, maybe not now, because I don't know that any quarterback is worth the reach, but I think you have to draft a quarterback. Kirk Cousins, this isn't real life 27, 26-year-old Kirk Cousins, whatever he is right now. This is 33-year-old 2021 Kirk Cousins. So I think you're going to need to, you only probably have 2 to 3 years out of him max. I think you should probably start to look at somebody else to lock you down for the entire cycle.
Yeah. Like you said, Cousins is older now. The throw power is down. But, I mean, you let go of Trubisky. You would like to see him get something back there, but we'll see what they go with here. I'm thinking I agree with you. The best player available. The commissioner is walking up to the podium there. No, he's not. He actually turned around and walked away. Must be a little complication with the pick. The pick is in, and it is going to be Zach Cummings, the linebacker out of Georgia. This guy is a monster. He had a humongous combine, 6'4", only 22 years old. He's a 3-4 outside or pass rushing outside linebacker. I mean, the first thing that sticks out, Justin, has got to be the 4.52 40-yard dash speed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is blazing fast for a linebacker, obviously. I'm a little bit surprised that no one else took him a little bit earlier, honestly. I mean, I know it's still top 5, but having both corners go early kind of speaks in volumes about what our league focuses on, and that's shutting down the pass. So I am a little bit surprised, but I think that the Bears got a steal here at 5, and this is going to be a great player for a lot of years to come.
Yeah, I mean, you see the combine he put up is just incredible. First out of all the outside linebackers in the 3-cone, the 20-yard shuttle, third in the bench press. This guy could be a force, and he was actually Louis Riddick's #1 player on the big board, which says a lot. Third overall, or he's #1 outside linebacker, third overall player. I think the Bears came away with a steal here at number 5. I mean, if you can have a steal at 5, just because this guy, like you said, should have gone a little bit higher. He'll be a force in the XCFL, whether he's rushing the passer, dropping in coverage, just with that speed alone. We're going to go ahead and move on to number 6, which is the New York Jets. The Jets had a pretty active offseason in free agency. I saw their names a lot, grabbing all sorts of players. They grabbed Joe Williams, the running back. They grabbed Eric Armstead, a defensive end, in the trade. Jamar Taylor, I know they were bidding on in free agency. Key losses, they lost Muhammad Wilkerson, Calais Campbell, Bruce Irvin, a lot of guys along the D line. So their main team needs here are going to be cornerback, outside linebacker, and then possibly a defensive end, defensive tackle, something to get them a little power in that always tough AFC East. What are you thinking for the Jets here, Justin? Anything special?
Well, I mean, I do think, you see here, obviously defense is what they need. Corner, outside linebacker, defensive end. I hate to keep going back to it, but I was so impressed with this defensive this outside linebacker class. There are a few defensive ends, though, that are out there that I think people are kind of sleeping on. So that could be a potential. But I think, again, just because of the whole can't miss aspect, I think you're going to probably see him go with outside linebacker. I guess, it remains to be seen whether or not we are right with that prediction.
Yeah. Okay, so the pick is in here, and it is going to be Joshua Stevenson, the outside linebacker out of Michigan State. We know Michigan State is in complete turmoil with all these accusations amongst their head coaches and with the Larry Nassar thing. But Jocelyn Stevenson was able to put up massive combine numbers as well. Didn't run the 40 as well as he liked, which is why Lou Riddick has him at 19 overall. He is ranked the 3rd outside linebacker, though, which, and you see the A- hit power, the B+ finesse moves. This guy has pass rusher all over him, doesn't he, Justin?
He absolutely does. Interesting, though, that he was going from Michigan State, where they obviously have done things that are questionable at best. And
Yes.
he's going to go with Coach Dave, who also does things that are questionable at best. So I like the, just he's able to kind of keep his same personality and character flaws and take him right up there to the Meadowlands.
Yeah, I think this guy helps because I think he will be. You can put him at a three. You can put him at a defensive end spot. He can play that outside linebacker. He's got great size at 6'3", 260. I think it's a good pick for a lot of reasons, and I agree with what you said there. But we're going to move on to the 7th pick in the draft. After cruising right along here, and it's going to be the Cleveland Browns with their 2nd pick in the first 7 picks. We saw them go cornerback Craig Clark out of Stanford with their first pick in the draft, and so I think here we've kind of talked about it before, but it's going to be that outside linebacker position if we have any left. I know there's a couple left though. That Spencer Bentley, that Curry Waddle, both are pretty decent prospects. Would you see him addressing that outside linebacker need we talked about earlier? Then.
Probably outside linebacker. But I think, obviously there's a couple free safeties that are still out there too that are pretty good. That was another class that was very top heavy, but I was also impressed with. But I think, according to this, and this is according to our new Browns coach, outside linebacker looks to be his number one need. So I think with this particular class, you have to go there because you have to hit a home run here in the top 10.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I mean, he talked about it as a need, and I think the commissioner's heading to the podium there. The pick is in, and it is going to be outside linebacker Curry Waddle out of Penn State University. This is, the number 32 ranked overall player on Riddick's big board. I just, it comes down to this is a strong outside linebacking class, the 5th overall outside linebacker. B+ tackling, B+ block shed, B hit power. He ran the 2nd fastest 40-yard dash out of those outside linebackers at a 4.53. Then he pumped out a massive 27 reps, which is first among left outside linebackers. I don't really agree with Riddick that this guy is a 32 overall player in the draft, Justin. How about yourself?
No, I had him in my top 10 and maybe even top 5. I can't find him on my sheet here right now, but I definitely had him very highly ranked, and I think that he's going to be a very, very nice player for the Cleveland Browns. Again, for similar to all these other linebackers that we've seen. Obviously, there was a lot of defense being played in the NCAA last year.
Yeah, I think he hit the home run on both of his draft picks here. He filled needs, and then he was able to grab two really top 5, top 10 value players for sure. So we'll move along here to number 8, and it is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. After making a last-second trade, the Eagles slide into the top 10 here after shipping away Gordon Todd, their star receiver, to the Lions. They brought in Davis Webb in the offseason, Marshall Yant to protect Davis Webb, brought back Mac Hollins. But then they were very active shipping away all sorts of talent, Jordan Hicks, Hassan Riddick, Jamar Taylor. Do they go with a quarterback here? Is Davis Webb their guy? Do they go with a wide receiver to fulfill Gordon Todd's spot? Where do you see the Eagles go here at number 8?
Well, I actually have some inside info, to be honest. So I talked to Coach John earlier in the day, and he was he was actually still torn because obviously I don't think he was expecting to be this high in the draft. And when you suddenly jump into that top 10, the pressure's on. I think that he's probably going to go best available, truthfully, because he doesn't have a lot of key needs. Obviously, as you talked about, he shipped away some talent, but it was older talent for the most part, outside of obviously Gordon Todd. He was able to get a good replacement. He's never going to be Gordon Todd, but he was able to get, I think it's Ishaq Douglas, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I do think it'll be interesting to see what he goes with.
Well, the pick is in here, and he goes with Bernard Gardner out of Georgia. The number 1 overall free safety on Lou Riddick's big board. He's got the A- hit power, the 14th overall player on the big board. And I mean, this guy, it's 5'10", 228. He is a solid SEC, free safety. He's a ball hawk, and he does pack that punch with that A- hit power. Could see him move over, play the strong safety position. Is this kind of where you saw Bernard Gardner going in these top 10 picks?
He was definitely one of the people that Coach John mentioned earlier. He had mentioned him, and then he had mentioned possibly a wide receiver. I think it's Bernard Office, but at any rate, he had mentioned a couple things. Oh, obviously, because giving up Todd, there's that need to replace him. But I think offensively, he had a pretty good year. Defensively, he had a great year up front. And I think he just needed to kind of solidify the back end. So hopefully this ball hawk safety is able to help solidify that secondary.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to move on here to the number 9 pick in the draft, and it belongs to the Atlanta Falcons, one of our top users in this league. He makes a deep run in the playoffs, and he was able to snag this number 9 pick from the Rams, actually, your team. So let's go address the Falcons' moves this offseason. They were very active in free agency as well as trades. They brought in Tariq Cohen, the running back from Chicago, Brandon Marshall, Taylor Powell, the defensive tackle from the Redskins. They did lose Alex Mack, their longtime center, Ryan Schrader, another offensive lineman. But their main draft need is wide receiver. We haven't seen a wide receiver go yet. Is this where the Atlanta Falcons make the move and take a receiver?
I think it is. Again, full disclosure, little inside info, but he has been talking about this office guy pretty much all day today. He has gone back and forth on the corners. I know that there was a cornerback that he was really liking. Obviously, it looks like maybe one of those were taken. I didn't get a name, but looks like at this point with the 2 top corners taken off the board early. Yeah, I think that probably it's going to be a wide receiver, and I think it's going to be office.
All right, I think they are getting that pick in there. The pick is in, and it is DeMarco Office. Your sources were correct. He's a 6'5", 235-pound wide receiver out of Penn State, the second guy from Penn State getting drafted. He is Riddick's number 2 rated wide receiver, 28th overall, A- spec catch, and then he pumps out 21 reps at the bench press. A guy of his size. This is a good move for the Atlanta Falcons. You get Chance to lay their quarterback another weapon. You were 100% right again. Do you like the pick now that they actually made it?
I do. I actually think that a couple people slept on this pick because Waller is obviously out there as well, and he was a little bit more highly rated coming out. But with the combine scores coming in, I know, and obviously the size of this guy is, I think, the key differentiator. I think, honestly, 6'5", 235 and quick. Look at the acceleration there. He's 6th overall on acceleration and agility. So he's going to be a really hard person to stop for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos. I'm going to here. The Denver Broncos, Josh Dobbs, their quarterback, they were able to snag him in the offseason after letting Paxton Lynch walk. James Conner, Marquise Wilson. I'm going to kind of let you take it over here because it's my pick on console. Draft needs, running back, defensive tackle, guard. Where do you see the Denver Broncos going with this move?
Yeah, go ahead and I'll handle it for a minute. I think
cool.
The Broncos, they're an interesting story because they do have some needs that, really, honestly, I hate to say it, but all over the field. But they did obviously make some good additions this year. Josh Dobbs, although I don't think that Josh Dobbs is a long-term solution, I think that Josh Dobbs is able to at least be a good Band-Aid. James Conner, I think that, again, long-term solution, probably not, but he's going to be able to at least hold it down for a little while. And obviously Marcus Wilson, I think all of those players are kind of a similar caliber. None of them are complete studs that really jump off the page at you. But they're filling needs that he had, kind of all over the field on offense, to be quite honest.
Yes. And I believe the pick is in. The pick is in, and they took the running back, Ivan Lane from Michigan State, 22 years old. This is a big boy at 6'1", 238. Ivan Lane, do you like the pick? A stiff arm, A- carrying, busted out a 4.61 for a guy his size. Do you like a running back going this high? Or
I'm torn because honestly, I don't like halfbacks going this early in the draft, especially power backs, unless it's somebody that, and obviously he didn't really even end up being what everybody thought he would be, but unless it's somebody like Reggie Bush, who's just he separates himself so much from the rest of the herd, I think you have to go somewhere else with this pick. That being said, again, if this guy ends up being a Derrick Henry type runner or a Leonard Fournette, where he's that power back that just can't be brought down, then it's a great pick.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to move on to the next pickup, and it is 11. The Buffalo Bills. They have a couple of picks in this draft. The Bills ended up adding Gerald Everett in free agency. Wide receiver Dante Moncrief was a hot commodity this offseason after the Bills had to let him walk. main need is going to be linebacker, center, free safety. Are there any linebackers left that we can see the Bills going with here, or what's your take here for the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, I mean, there are still obviously some linebackers on the board, and let's not pretend that it's only the left outside linebacker. I believe there was a couple middle and a couple right outside linebackers that are also, I don't think they jump off the page at you, but they're still overall talent-wise very, very solid picks. So although again there are other positions of need for the Bills, but he's got a lot of picks that he's hopefully able to at least hit on some of them and start to build that team in the right direction.
Oh yeah. Well, I think the commissioner's heading to the podium. But yeah, I think Buffalo is going to go with Walter Benson, the defensive end from Alabama. This guy is a monster at 6'7", 273. You can see his massive biceps in the picture. Busted a 4.67 40-yard dash and some crazy 3-cone and 20-yard shuttles, 7.15 and a 4.30. 35 reps of the bench press. This guy can play inside. He can play outside. B+ power moves. Do you like Walter Benson out of Alabama?
I do. I think that's a good pick. I think that obviously that you're seeing. I think you meant. Did you mean Perry Wilkerson?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah. So that's all right. I think Perry Wilkerson. I think overall this dude. Again, B's across the board, but a great combine. I think that's the key. He's going to be incredibly fast getting off the line, an insane amount of acceleration getting off the line. Those are linebacker type speeds. So really impressed with his intangibles.
Yeah, sorry about that. Perry Wilkerson, 23 years old, 6'4", 250, speed rusher out of Oklahoma. But yeah, this is the number 2 D end, a number 22 overall player on Lou Riddick's board. This is a great pick. The B finesse moves. This guy could be a stud for the Buffalo Bills for their first pick of the draft. We're gonna move on here to the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys, drafting all the way up here at number 12. What does this team really need? They add Alex Mack. They bring back DeMarcus Lawrence in the offseason. Yep. Bring back DeMarcus Lawrence in the offseason. Marquise Wilson. They lost him. The main draft needs defensive line, middle linebacker, wide receiver. Do the Cowboys need anything? Do they? What do you see the Cowboys going with here?
Coach. Do they need anything? No.
No.
I do think though that obviously there's always a need to fill. You can always get better. I think honestly, their secondary is great. Their offensive line is great, but keep in mind that we're going into season 5, so that offensive line is gonna start to age here quickly. So I think that maybe you might see some offensive line help here. If it's not this year, it's gonna definitely be next year. There's still some really, really good picks on the board for offensive line. But I think that overall, obviously, like you said, he's got the ability to go out and just take best available because of how well that team has performed.
Yeah, like you said, they're an older team at pretty much every position. He's added some talent at wide receiver. He's still got Dak and Zeke. We obviously know they're good for the cycle. We'll see what they go with. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and recap. The first top 10 picks here. What really sticks out to you here while we're waiting for the Cowboys pick to come in?
Oh man, let's see. So of the top 10 picks, I have to say, obviously just what we thought about. 4 left outside linebackers going in the top 10, and another one. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, my screen just refreshed. And another one still on the board that I think is just as good. The top 4 left outside linebackers that I saw. I'm sorry, top 5 left outside linebackers that I saw were all phenomenal.
All right, so the pick is, and it is going to be Walter Benson this time. You can see the biceps in the picture.
There you go.
4.3, yes, B+ power moves. The 35 reps of the combine, 4.67 40-yard dash. This is a big man moving very fast along that defensive line. Do you like Walter Benson now?
I do, and I almost, it was impressive. You almost had some sort of telepathy and able to know who was coming before they even walked onto the stage. So very impressed with your ability, sir.
Well, that's a big man. You can't really miss him when he walks up to the podium. Yeah. But yeah, I like this Benson pick. He was the number 5 overall player on Lou Riddick's big board, and he's going all the way down here at 12. The rich get richer. The Cowboys add a stud that can kind of replace, some of their aging players along the defensive line and keep that pass rush just coming at you next to Taco Charlton, who was one of the tops in sacks again this season. But with that being said, we're going to be done talking about Josh and his Cowboys and move on here to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have had a couple down seasons after their season 10 Super Bowl appearance. They added Spain, the right guard from Tennessee, and Bayard as well, the free safety from Tennessee, and then brought in this very fast outside linebacker, Levante David. So they had an active offseason. Where do you see? Do you see him going offensive line, defensive line here? What's your take on the Minnesota Vikings?
The Vikings are a team that kind of confuses me a little bit because they started out really, really hot in this cycle and then kind of have dropped off. And I don't know exactly why or what. I haven't seen anything that really shows like any real glaring need. I will say his defense doesn't seem to be as stout as it once was. So if it's me, I know left tackle's up there, and obviously we got a couple good ones, but I think, you have to solidify the defensive side of the ball. You might still be able to get a decent defensive end later, though. So, I would say he probably goes left tackle, but don't be surprised if you see him go with a defensive end.
Yeah, well, they've been struggling at NFC North while we wait for the pick to get in here. The pick is in, never mind. And they go with the left tackle, Harvey Jenkins, out of Tennessee, 6'6", 309. This is a very talented guy. We were, third ranked left tackle. B pass block, B pass block, B impact block. Look at the blazing 40, the 4.98 for the big man. 30 bench press reps. Is this the left tackle you saw them going with? It is a very deep offensive line class.
It's a very deep offensive line class. I don't know that this is exactly the one that I would have gone with. There is, personally, I think that Brady Karstens is maybe a bit better, but he didn't have, he had I believe he was suspended or removed from the team. I want to say it was suspended. So he did have a bad story. So there's a chance that people are, shying away from him because of that. And maybe that's why we're seeing, this big monstrosity of a man go at Harvey Jenkins here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the Carson story, him getting kicked off the team, definitely played a role. But like we said, it is a deep class. This isn't a bad pick. It's just not one that everybody would have gone with. But we will move on to the Buffalo Bills' second pick, number 14 overall. Back to the Bills. So they added the left end Perry Wilkerson out of with their first pick at 11. With two other picks here, do we see the Bills load up on defense here, or are we going to see them make a move on the offensive side of football?
I honestly, the problem with where the Bills are right now is that they kind of need a little bit of both. I do think that they really drastically need to improve on the defensive side of the ball. The good news is, and I don't mean this in a negative way to the rest of the AFC East, but it is a winnable division. It's one of those divisions where if you can just get incrementally better, it can make a huge difference. So I think that, the defensive side of the ball, how many times have offensive powerhouses go into the playoffs and get smoked because they're unable to move the ball against some of our better defensive users. And I think, that there's something to be said about stacking up that defense. So I personally would go defense.
Uh-oh. The pick is in, and they are going to go with the stud. This is my favorite picks in the draft. The strong safety out of Wisconsin, because in Wisconsin they breed safeties. Hayden Hicks, Thomas Martinez, all sorts of players. It is Mason Christie, the 21-year-old strong safety. Boone, are you with us?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, Boone is with us. Hello, sir. Nice you to make it halfway through the draft.
No big deal. No big
guest
deal.
appearance.
Yes. So, Justin, since you're ready here, what's your take on Macy, the 21-year-old out of Wisconsin?
Well, as you had mentioned, I don't know what's in the water there in Wisconsin, but they're just breeding safeties one after another. That's now 3 strong safeties out of Wisconsin. Or actually, I believe Martinez may have been a free safety. But either way, that's 3 safeties in the past few years that 2 of them are in the league right now and are performing at an incredibly high level. And I really don't expect anything less from this guy here. I think that, he's going to be an absolutely just a ball hawk out there in the backfield, especially with a 4.42 40-yard dash. That's getting after it.
Yeah, and only 21 years old. This guy, I mean, he'll be a stud, filling in for Hayden Hicks after they shipped him to Miami. I think this will be a nice pick for them. Well, just in time for his own picks, we have Coach Boone himself, the Houston Texans. Boone, sitting here, key additions. You added Jamie Collins in the offseason. You traded away Ramczyk to get this pick. What are you looking at here as the coach?
Well, being that I wasn't in the draft room, I was caught up in traffic. I had to let Fowles kind of take the reign and see what he could do, And he showed some skill, I guess. I was looking for a linebacker because, I mean, at the end of the day, Collins isn't exactly young, and neither is Barrett or Tauchu. So at some point in time, I'm gonna need to replace them. And then I got rid of the left tackle, so clearly we're gonna need to get some sort of stability on this line. And then as well as my left guard Mans is getting old, so. They went ahead and got me, I guess what I was asking for here.
Yeah. And, is the pick ready? Did we walk up to the pick is in? And you did go with outside linebacker Spencer Bentley at UCLA. 6'3", 231, the A- hip power, the B+ tackle, B+ block shed. I really like this pick, Boone. Justin, what's your take on Spencer Bentley out of UCLA?
Again, that was the number 5 one that I was referring to earlier. That I was a little bit surprised that he didn't get grabbed a little earlier because, obviously after this, there's a significant drop off. This is a great pick, I think, to get him here, mid first round is phenomenal.
Yeah, Boone, very good pick. We're going to stick with the Houston Texans here because they actually hold the 16th overall pick as well. They got 3 picks in the first round. I think they're back at 30 as well. Am I right? So 3 picks. We did hear Boone say he needs to address the offensive line after trading away the stud left tackle. Justin, do we see them addressing offensive line here? We know Boone sack history.
Yeah, I mean, I think let's be honest. Boone, regardless of how he's evolved his game, he still loves to sling the ball, but in order to do that, you have to keep your quarterback clean. So I do think, we probably see him go offensive line here.
All righty. Is this pick easy to do? Is this pick
all right, so basically, looking at Spencer Bentley real quick, just reflecting on that pick that Fowles had, because I haven't had a lot of time to mull that over. He ends up being the number 1 ranked player in true talent on the board, which is really nice because he's an 83 overall. I guess he's a slow development, so I'm gonna have to work on that. But I mean, with 87 block shed, 92 hit power, 87 tackle, 83 speed.
Oh wow!
Maybe I throw him on the line. Maybe
with that hip power too, he's gonna be an absolute monster coming off the edge. That's a pretty good pick by your boy David Fales there.
Yeah, he's showing some skill, man. It's surprising. Everybody looked down on this guy. He plays quarterback for a year, and he ends up in the Pro Bowl. He hops on a coaching staff, and he's manifesting an offense that gives me a run game. I mean, this guy's been getting looks to be a coach.
The pick is in, and they went with the right tackle out of Texas, Harris Nielsen, 21 years old, 6'6". The B+ impact block is always huge. The B- run block, B- pass block. This guy out of Texas is, one of the top linemen in the draft. Justin, do you like this Harris Nielsen pick for the Houston Texans and Coach?
Yeah, I do. He's a stud across the board. As we talked about, it is a very deep class at offensive line, but at the end of the day, that there's always going to be 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen that really stand out. This is one of them.
Yeah, this is a great pick.
You think so?
We're going to go.
I think so, huh?
Lots of compliments for Coach Boone.
A little upset here. You picked a freaking tackle who can't bench press more than 30 reps. That's embarrassing. He comes out with 84 strength, so you best believe his ass is going to be in the gym. He's 21, so I'll excuse it, but his ass is going to be in the gym. 84 strength is he's a guard. He's a guard. Like 84 strength is a guard. You have no business blocking for my quarterback on the outside of 84 strength. You get bullied. Like you have to deal with people like the guy over in Philly. Like I don't want to deal with that, son. Like get your ass in the gym and lift weights. Oh my God, 28 reps, embarrassing.
So David Fales goes 1 for 2 on his picks. We'll move on here to number 17.
At least he likes him.
Yeah, we'll go to 17.
I mean, he's talented. 80s across the board in blocking, 82 run, 81 pass, 86 impact. But he's an 84 strength. You need to be a 90 there. I don't know what you're doing here.
Well, like I said, we'll move on here. Enough with Coach Boone's team and move to the Kansas City Chiefs at number 17. They made a couple moves, grabbing 2 tight ends in free agency, snagged Malcolm Easley, the defensive end. But the main needs look to be along the offensive line at guard, tackle, defensive end, possibly. Justin, I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes there. Do you got to do all you can to protect your young quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to. I think. I mean, he gets the ball out pretty quickly, and he's got an absolute cannon. So even if he doesn't have time, he can still get it down the field. But you have to have the ability to protect him long enough to where this league, especially with how crazy the sack numbers are, you got to put a premium on offensive line talent.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. This, when you have a young stud quarterback, you have to protect him. Boone knows that very well. So you can always go offensive line here. There are a couple other talented players. There's some defensive ends on the board. A couple wide receivers I could see go here. The Chiefs are making their pick now. When I get word that the commissioner's up there, and they went with Rainey Okun, the defensive end out of Wisconsin, another stud along that defensive end, along that Wisconsin defense. 6'6", 315, bench presses more than Boone's new left tackle. 37 reps in the bench press. This guy can play D end. This guy can play D tackle. Boone, what's your take on Rainey Okun here? 6'6", 315.
I get
defensive
it.
End.
The pick makes sense, dude. Like, look at their roster. They had guys who got a couple picks, a couple 5 picks, a couple 4 picks. You have no one who got you more than 9 sacks on the season. In this league, I had to learn the hard way. The best way to make sure passing attacks is to get in their quarterback's face. And he's a guy who's really going to get after it. And his hits are going to hurt. That's the important part, is make sure your hits hurt. And he's going to really go after him. 37 reps, I don't see who can stop in front of him. My tackle's going to get thrown out the way if I play him.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll move on here to number 18, which is the New York Football Giants. The Giants had a very active offseason, not as much in free agency, but they were shipping players all over the place. Picks, unless they had 8 different first-round picks, but they are settled here at number 18. The Giants' main key needs, offensive tackle, offensive guard, wide receiver. I talked to him a little bit in the offseason, heard he was thinking about running back. Justin, what do you think we see out of the New York Giants here at 18?
Well, the Giants, just to be frank, they need a lot. He was, and it's not his fault. I mean, he was hamstrung. He was hamstrung with it. No, it's not. It's Chad's fault. So Chad left him with a shell of a team, and a lot of insane contracts. You see 2 of those contracts, Alshon Jeffrey and Odell Beckham, finally off the books. I was, able to take Olivier Vernon off of him last year. He's done a lot to free up some cap space. So hopefully he can start to build through the draft and through free agency and get this team going. I personally, if it's me, I go offensive line, whether it's tackle or guard, I don't care, but you got to put somebody on the line. That's a young, not so talented line right now.
Yeah. Well, why the Giants go ahead and get that pick ready. It is ready, never mind. And they're going to go with the 5'8", 21-year-old speed receiver Denard Waller out of Texas. This guy's, Lou Riddick's number 1 overall wide receiver, number 23 overall on the big board, so he's going right around the region he's supposed to. Boone, do you like the Denard Waller pick, even though we know you do not like the short wide receivers at 5'8", 172?
I mean, he's all right. He's young. So if I had to pick one, right, I'm gonna pick one that's young. That makes sense. He's 5'8", $170 to me getting murdered. If he touches the kick return, he can make some plays, but he's just a walking hitting bag. Like, he's too little to do much. You can't ask much out of him. The best I've seen is probably D-Jack and Jamison Crowder, and they're not much to speak of. I mean, so is he a good receiver? Yeah. Is he probably blazing fast? I can imagine so. He jumps off the tape when you watch him in college. So he's definitely going to be a playmaker, suitable for a slot receiver. I mean, I don't know how far it's going to get you in some offenses. In mine, it'll take you far. I don't know how far he'll get in others.
Oh, boy. Well, that's enough about Denard Waller. We're going to go ahead and move on to the Tampa Bay Bucks at 19. The Buccaneers had a very quiet offseason. Normally we see them, posting players everywhere. They added Casey Hayward and Harrison Smith to shore up the secondary, a couple older guys, but, you still get some stuff from these veteran defensive backs. They lost Julio Jones. I think they lost Mike Evans. I'm not too sure about that one. But I mean, Justin, is wide receiver their main need? Do they need to get not younger at wide receiver, regardless if they have Mike Evans on their roster or not?
Yeah, I think you have to go wide receiver. But again, I mean, we have a deep linebacker and safety class, so they could also, you see those as two needs. I would, of those three categories, I would go best available in those three.
Yeah, while they get the pick ready, the Bucs can go a few different ways. We'll kind of see, who they do decide to go with, but I think they can fill a bunch of different needs. I think you bring in the defensive backs to secure secondary, but you could still get younger there. You're still going to eventually need someone to pass this on to. There's a couple guys that do stick out, but I mean, as far as cornerbacks go, there's not much. I know the Heisman winner, Pierce Earl, the strong safety, still on the board. There's a guy out of Ohio State. There's a couple different guys. The pick is in. It is going to be Kawan Council out of the Ohio State University. 23 years old, busted out the fastest 40-yard dash to the combine at a 4.41. For the safeties, not the fastest overall. That'd be a very slow combine. Boone, do you like Kawan Council with the B hit power, the B minus zone coverage out of Ohio State?
I do. I mean, this guy is a playmaker at 23 years old. We had a lot of older guys with a lot of talent this year, and I kind of like that. They come season, they come with higher awareness. They're just going to come think that he's going to come in and make an immediate impact. He can hit, and that's the most important part. You like to bring him down that box and maybe become a linebacker, and sometimes fast enough to cover. I think that's where he's going to really make strides. He's so fast, he's not going to really get outran by this epidemic of these fast tight ends that this league loves, like an Evan Ingram or something. So I definitely think he's going to be versatile in that aspect. A little smaller than I'd like. At 6 foot, he reminds you more so like a Bob Sanders, how little he is. But I mean, he hits, so I'm still not going to try and run at him.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on here to the 20th overall pick. We're flying through this. We have the San Francisco 49ers. No big key additions this offseason. Lost a couple older players: Philly Brown, Jaquiski Tart. Main needs: they got free safety, running back after letting Joe Williams go, linebacker. You got Alan Navarre there. We've heard about the suspension. He's out the first 5 games of this season after sitting out the one week 17 last year. Justin, where do you see these 49ers going this draft?
I mean, I get the pleasure of playing him twice a year, except for the fact that he's crushed me the last few times. I think, honestly, his defensive line right now is absolutely stacked. I think offensive line and, his secondary is probably where he can improve the most. I shouldn't say really secondary. I just mean, not necessarily on the defensive line. So linebackers or secondary. But, he's in a really good position because he's had some really good drafts and he's able to kind of take best available, I think, if, just from looking at his roster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the pick is in, and it is going to be Henry Hurst, the center out of Washington, 22 years old, 6'2", 301, a very solid B-plus impact block. There's not many centers in this class, so he does have the combine looks a little inflated, but 4'9", 640. He's quick with acceleration and agility, and then he pumps out more reps than Boone's guy again with 31 reps. But I mean, the impact block is so big in this with how aggressive our defensive lines are in this league. Boone, do you like the Henry Hurst pick, and do you wish you took him instead?
I don't wish I took him.
Okay.
Because he's a center. I don't need a center. But I do like the pick because he's a solid blocker. And the one thing that you want to work up with your center is his run block because he's so key in making those inside runs. And to be honest, that's going to be probably the easiest thing to bring up on him at 22 years old. He's going to make big plays. And in this offense, I mean, he wants to run the ball. That's really where it starts. He hasn't – I think last year he had a 500-yard rusher in Isaiah Crowell and a 300 million. You have to start the line because at the end of the day, you want to try and keep your quarterback safe and you want to try and get this offense moving, and it all starts at the line. And with Zay Jones coming back off that injury and looking to reclaim his throne as one of the top, that's a great place. Henry Hurst there to keep your quarterback upright, running lanes open for your running back, defense honest. I mean, it's a perfect pick for this team.
Oh, yeah. Got to like Henry Hurst, the first center off the board. All right, we'll move on here to the number 21st pick with a team we all know and love, the Detroit Lions. No big offseason. They added, key additions. We got to add Gordon Todd. They made the trade and grabbed Gordon Todd, the stud receiver from Philly. They dealt the 8th overall pick. Draft needs, you got quarterback, running back, linebacker. You got an aging Matthew Stafford. You got an aging Tevin Coleman. Justin, where do you see the Lions going here at number 21?
I would love to see the Lions take a look at a quarterback. I know that sounds funny, but because they really, Matt Stafford is like 100 years old.
102.
At some point, 102. So he's like 100. He at some point is obviously going to retire any minute now. So if you don't get a quarterback now, I don't know that I would reach for a QB, but if there's one on the board that you like, it may be worth a reach.
Yeah, I think so too. Like you said, Matthew Stafford's getting up there in age. The throw power is decreasing every single. The pick is in, and the Lions do go with the quarterback, and they are not happy with it. It is Daniel Kristrewa, the man with the crazy mustache out of Notre Dame, 22 years old, the 8th throw power, 6'4", 228. The most bench press reps for all quarterbacks at the combine, and say what you want about that. But it's a strong arm quarterback. Boone, the quarterback guru himself. Do you like this Kristrewa pick for the Detroit Lions?
I like it. I think he's a really solid quarterback.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint though. He has slow development.
That's not going to change anything. He has immense talent to throw to. He's not really going to have it. It takes maybe 1 year to get that up. But at 22, he comes with low prices. His throw power is already the most expensive thing, and it's an A, which means he's probably sitting at like a 92 or 93.
93.
Yeah, see? His throw mid is good. His short is going to be easy to bring up. His deep is probably what you're worried about. Not sure what that's going to end up at. But
77.
He's going to be easy. That's easy to pick up. And it's not going to be a hard task. And he almost benches as much as my right tackle. So it's that quarterback doing that. That's awesome. 22 reps. That's great. My right tackle is shit.
When you're thrown to Dixon Bishop and Gordon Todd and Eric Ebron, it can't be too hard of a job. You think he sits a year behind Matthew Stafford? Yeah, you think he sits a year behind Stafford and then comes in this offense ready to go? But no,
yeah, I definitely agree because the Lions are ready to go right now.
Yeah,
so I agree. And let him get his points from the training camp or the weekly workouts. Yep.
Well, we will move on here to the 22nd pick. We're getting towards the end here. 10 to go. It's the Buffalo Bills, their 3rd first-round pick in the draft. They ended up making a bunch of deals. They took left end Perry Wilkerson with their first pick. They went strong safety Mason Christie out of Wisconsin with their 14th pick. Where the heck do the Buffalo Bills go here? We got a ton of good offensive linemen on the board. Justin, is that where the Bills go? I know center's one of their needs, but not many centers. Do you grab a guard? What's your take here for the Buffalo Bills?
You could always take if you look at somebody that's maybe got a good amount of strength or somebody that you feel like is going to be a quicker superstar development and increase that awareness very quickly, and you could end up turning a guard into a center. But there's enough offensive line on this board that you could make something work. I would go there.
Well, the pick is in, and it is Nathan Swope out of Oregon. Well, Nat Swope, sorry about that, out of Oregon, 22 years old. I really like this guy. Lou Riddick obviously really likes him too. He's got him as 6 overall on his board, the number 1 right guard. Look at the combine, Boone. You got the 36 bench press reps. He's the fastest right guard in the entire combine as far as the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. Do you like the Nat Swope pick out of Oregon here for the Buffalo Bills?
I love it. Great pick. Outstanding pick because he's a lineman who can block and is strong. You can't go wrong there, man. Like 35, 36 reps. Dude, that's perfect. Just get in there, eat a little, get your weight up, get up to like 320, 330, eat some rice or whatever the heck else you want to eat, pasta, and you'll be good. Like, just tell them sit there and stop anyone in front. I guarantee you can have time to throw the ball off. So, you really can't go wrong with that.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we will move on from this Nat Swope pick, and we will move to 23, which now, we're getting into the playoff teams here. You got the New England Patriots up. They had that early first-round exit, but they played they played well all year. They have a rising quarterback there. They added Ndamukong Suh, Robert Quinn, added Jordan Reed. They got a bunch of talent around that defensive line. Main needs are going to be left outside linebackers with the loss of Hightower. You need a safety, you need a center. Boone, where do you see the New England Patriots go here? What would you say is their biggest need?
Their biggest need has got to be D-line, honestly.
Yeah.
D-line, maybe linebacker, like that 3-4 area on the edge. You really want somebody to come get it. You want someone who's versatile to go inside and out, whether they got to go in or outside linebacker. But yeah, it's either there or line, honestly, because you want to. I mean, at the end of the day, with the way our defensive lines are set up in this league, you can't ever have enough linemen. Like, you really can't, because it's such a problem block. So I mean, you're gonna go either or at this point.
Well, yeah. So while we're waiting for them to make the pick, the pick is in, and it is Avery Patterson, the tight end out of Wisconsin. This is our first tight end taken, and I really like Justin. What do you think about this tight end out of Wisconsin, Avery Patterson, another weapon for the young Ray Norris at quarterback for New England?
Yeah, I think as obviously Gronkowski is, I believe, gone for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And then he had Jimmy Graham, I think, last year was his big free agent signing.
Yep.
So, having that, he obviously likes that vertical threat tight end. Having the ability to stretch the field with that tight end is going to be key for that offense. We've seen it for how many years with the Patriots. I like it. I think it's a good pick. I'll be interested to see, obviously, how he is able to develop him and see if he can turn into a Gronk or a Jimmy Graham. But good pick overall. Yeah,
that 4.65 40-yard dash is awesome for a tight end. That's, at 6'3", B minus catching traffic. This will be a nice addition for Ray Norris and the New England Patriot offense. Well, we'll move on to the Redskins. We all know what's going to happen here. Nothing new. Jack ends up going with the cornerback Desmond Coleman with the 4th overall pick.
Desmond Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman. Sorry about that. But he's still, we know how much Jack likes his players. I know who he's taking here because he sent me a message about him earlier to make sure I had a draft card ready for him because he's one of those guys projected 4th round. But this guy's we won't talk about him yet. But Justin, do the Redskins go with the predictable, or do we see him mix it up a little bit here?
Well, I mean, I think you pretty much just said. So yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they go with the corner.
Yeah.
But I think I would be careful only because I think this is one of those high risk, high reward. He could be an outstanding pick and he could be a bust.
Yeah. Well, while we wait for them to announce the pick, we already know it's going to happen because he told me. I mean, what the Redskins are doing, Jack, he basically, he gets these stud second. Okay, the pick is in. We'll get to that later. And it is Taylor Nunley, the cornerback out of Troy. He's 22 years old. The thing that sticks out is the A- man coverage right out of the box. He ran a 4.46, so that's, decent speed there for a corner. But 6'2", 187, the A- man coverage, B press. This is right up Jack's alley. Boone, would you like Taylor Nunley, the projected 4th round pick? Because Louis Riddick really did.
Let me just say this as politically correct as I can. He's a fucking star. Like, dude, I had him so high on my board, and he was going to be the number 30th pick. Like, there was no question about this. This a man coverage at A-.
Yep.
Could get around this kid in college. Just imagine him in the pros. Jack has a cornerback he got who's 23 years old now, and it's like a 98 or something like that. This dude he's gonna lead the league probably in picks, or at least be top 5. He'll miss on this one.
He'll be second in the league behind Josh Jones. But go ahead, continue.
Oh, fair enough. I'm sorry, forgot he was in the league still. Good God. He's like you can't coach this kind of stuff. Like, man coverage is really high to boost up, especially like man and zone, and you get one that comes in at a 90 already. Like, you don't even have to do much to get his other up to a 90, and then you're just looking at a shutdown corner. So this kid is going to be on the levels of Josh Norman 2 years ago in the real world when he was bodying everybody, except he's not going to be 28 like Josh Norman is. He's going to be like a Darrelle Revis. Like, this kid is going to be amazing. And the fact that he's 6'2", running a 4.46 is just out of this world. Like, this is probably one of the best Madden picks we're going to see in a while.
All right, so we're going to move on here to the Panthers, and they had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. West, the quarterback out of Georgia, who was, the surefire number 1 pick, the best quarterback in the draft. He fills a huge need in Carolina because I think the only quarterback on their roster is Matt Barkley. Boone, do the Panthers, a team that's kind of been always at the bottom of the league here, do they draft best available player, or do you see a specific need you'd like the Panthers to go with?
The Panthers have they have a lot to work towards as a team.
Yeah.
They have a lot of offense.
Yeah.
Their team is pretty bad. They had Tyrod Taylor last year. You would honestly hope, for some sort of offensive playmaker. So I'd probably go with the best offensive playmaker you could find, ideally a quarterback. But, who knows what they decide over there in Carolina.
Yeah. The pick is in, and they don't go with the best offensive playmaker, probably the best defensive playmaker in the draft. The Heisman-winning strong safety out of Georgia. This Georgia defense must have been scary. 23-year-old Pierce Earl. Love the 2 first names. Justin, 4.53 40-yard dash, 4.14 shuttle, the B pursuit, B minus hit power. Do you like Pierce Earl here for the Carolina Panthers at 25?
Yeah, I mean, I know we're kind of getting towards the end of the first round, so I'll be quick.
Yep.
I do like the pick. I think that obviously, this was he's probably going to be superstar development, I believe, too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's at 25 to get a superstar strong safety. No matter what his ranking is, or his ratings, are, you're going to be able to build him very, very quickly, and he can probably start right away.
Yeah, you normally see everyone jump at the Heisman winner, but this time he kind of slid, and Phil and the Carolina Panthers benefit here. But we'll move to 26. The New York Giants, this is their second pick. They took Denard Waller, the wide receiver, with their first pick. I mean, like we talked about, they were trading all over the place all offseason, and they've mentioned numerous times that the getting the running game going, and like Boone said earlier, it starts at the offensive line, whether it's a tackle, a guard, a center, just shoring up the offensive line. You got Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback. Not sure who's running the football there, but I mean, we either see a running back or an offensive lineman. I'm sure here. Boone, where would you like to see the New York Football Giants go here?
I'd like to see them go line because, God, if you don't need it, I mean, you can't have anything if you don't have a line. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to go line here because you just need that up front, that solid presence, because you can't run the ball. You can't throw the ball without a line. So you start at the line and build your way back. You can get a mediocre quarterback to come in and throw yourself 2,000 yards and just manage the football game as long as you have a decent running back. So you got to go line here.
Yep, I agree with you there. Hopefully that's what the Giants do here to kind of – the pick is in, and they do. They go with the right guard, Le'Veon Finn out of Texas. This is one of my favorite picks. Lou Riddick has him as the number 2 right guard in the draft, the number 18 overall pick going here at number 26. A-minus impact block. Justin, I mean, is that A-minus impact block from a 21-year-old? That's just, I mean, an awesome start here for your starting right guard, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. I mean, I did this with Simon Everett a couple years ago, and the guy is, a solid like 90 across the board now. I think it's going to be a very similar. I think Everett was only an 89 impact block, so having that right off the bat is going to be great.
Oh yeah, for sure. And now we'll move on here to 27th pick. This is the Philadelphia Eagles here. Back at it again. They took the free safety Bernard Gardner with the 8th pick. Sitting here at 27. I've talked to the Eagles coach a few times, and linebacker seemed to be his main need. And so he obviously didn't address it the first round. So is there anybody left that we see him going with here, Justin, at 27 out of the linebacker class?
Sorry, I had myself on mute there. There still are a couple, and to be honest, I lost track of where we were at with the things trying to do it. But I know for a fact that not all of my top 10 or 12 linebackers have gone yet. So there was one I know, and I'm losing his name is escaping me at this moment. But middle linebacker, right outside linebacker. Yep. So Hudson Heidel. That's why I can't find him, because his name doesn't make any damn sense. Yep. But yeah, I know that he's going to be a stud. In fact, I think he got a little bit lost in this shuffle because of all those left outside linebackers.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, the pick is in, and that's who the Eagles do go with. A 3-4 pass rusher here, B+ hit power, B+ pursuit, the B power moves. Decent 40 at a 4.69, 25 reps in the combine. I'm thinking this guy could play middle linebacker if the Eagles really need him to after getting rid of Jordan Hicks and Hassan Riddick there. Boone, do you like the Hudson Heibel pick with the linebacker out of Louisville?
He's a great linebacker. He had an outstanding career in Louisville. He definitely got lost in the shuffle of the outstanding left outside linebackers that were in this class, and can kind of slip your mind because you're stuck focusing on left outside. When you see them gone, you kind of think there's no one left. He'll definitely be an outstanding complement to Basie and that monstrous defensive line. Accumulated what 60 sacks damn near between 3 players. So he'll be a great compliment. He'll definitely eat off of the quick throws that people will make because that defensive line is so invasive in that backfield. So he should have an outstanding chance to make some payback and, occasionally slide in there and get himself about 5 or 6 sacks this year.
I agree. That's a great pick for that Philadelphia Eagles. Very dangerous defense. We'll move on here to our Atlanta Falcons, one of the NFC. He made it pretty deep in the playoffs for the NFC. We saw him go earlier with the wide receiver out of Penn State office. He's still got team needs, cornerback, running back, looking to kind of pair somebody with Tariq Cohen. I know he was trying to move Devontae Freeman. He did let go of Taylor Powell, or he added Taylor Powell, the defensive tackle, in the offseason to pair up with these crazy defensive linemen he already has. There's not much to be said. This is kind of like the Cowboys here where, they pretty much are set at every position. They got their receiver that I thought was their only main need, really. So I think Atlanta could go really anywhere here while we await this pick. The pick is in, and it is. This is my favorite name to say in the draft. Mustafa Wilson, the defensive tackle out of Stanford. So why Craig Clark, the cornerback, is out there picking stuff off at Stanford, this is a guy that was getting to the quarterback, rushing the passer, 6'6", 331. Justin, go ahead and break down Mustafa Wilson for us out of Stanford.
Yeah, my favorite is still Quaxia, but quacks on, quacks off. But I do really like this pick because, as we know, there is nobody. Listen, I'm not critiquing all the shit you say. So
I've been drinking, so
there is really probably no better team. Well, I shouldn't say no better team, but he has a few equals, but I would say nobody better as far as getting after the passer.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be another key defensive line addition, which is like ridiculous that he just keeps finding these defensive linemen. This is a steal down this low. I had this guy ranked a lot higher.
37 reps on the bench press for Mustafa to pair him with, DeForest Buckner, who's put up 30-plus sacks every year. Jamal Perkins. This you add Taylor Powell. This is a dangerous defensive line that I do not want to play in that poor NFC West. Sorry about that. NFC South, sorry. But yeah, Mustafa Wilson, great name. Number 1 defensive tackle off the board. And we'll move on here to the Super Bowl runner-up Tennessee Titans. They have 2 picks here in the last 4 picks in the first round. Another team, not many needs. They add Todd Gurley in the offseason after trading away Derrick Henry. They deal Desmond Trufant. There's no corner they could really go with here. But the Titans have been pretty good drafters with these late picks coming away. I don't want to toot Yost's horn more than he already toots it himself. But Boone, what do you think your buddy Yost does here? Boone might be making some breakfast.
Okay, I got you. No.
He's making
That's
a
not
frozen
me. That's
pizza.
not me. So the Titans, at this point, they have a well-rounded team. Don't get me wrong, but I'd imagine they would probably go best available player. Honestly, it's going to be hard to pick for him because he does have a deep team, and he's probably going to look solid. Knowing Yost, he's more of like a build from the inside out kind of guy. So like a D tackle or like a middle lineman or just an overall offensive lineman because you can never have enough of those guys and they're so valuable in the league. I just traded away Ramzik and he wasn't something special. He was decent, good, and I traded him for a first round pick. So in this league, you can never have enough of those guys. And those guys are always valuable. So I look for him to go probably somewhere in that area.
Well, that is just what they did, going with the defensive tackle Rashad Childs out of Alabama. Another one of those Alabama defensive linemen that is athletic, 6'4", 300 pounds. He's 24 years old, so he's one of those older guys. But 39 reps at the combine. 39 reps. That says it all. Justin, do you like the pick here for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, I do. I think that, as we all know, that's kind of where the battles are won, is in the trenches. having that guy that's able to get off, and especially after some of these other guys in that division have added some good offensive line talent. So, yeah, good pick.
Great pick.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Oh, God. All right, so next up is the Houston Texans again for their third first overall, or third pick in the first round. Is Boone? Someone's taking a bath. The Houston Texans, while we wait for the pick to come in here, you addressed the offensive line, you addressed the outside linebacker. You obviously weren't happy with the offensive lineman pick, so I'm guessing we're going to go back to offensive line here because it is a very deep class of offensive linemen. I know there's a couple deep sleepers that probably didn't even have first round projections. But Boone, is that what you're going with here while we wait for the commissioner to come out for the pick?
You damn right it is. You damn right it is. I mean, I told you the bench press he put up. I have a left guard who's going on 30, and he's solid for his age. Don't get me wrong, but he's not going to be solid for too much longer. So, all right, well, I definitely need to get somebody to moving on.
Well, your pick is in, and it is the left guard out of Fresno State, Kevin Gray. A- impact block, B run block, and most importantly, the 35 reps on the bench press. 4.89 40. This guy can move for a big boy. 6'3", 324.
Boom. He's a beast. 89 strength, 84 run block, 79 pass block, 92 impact blocking. I mean, the guy's a beast. He's going to be a monster. He's going to start from day one. I can't wait. I'm excited. Like, we have a line now. We're good. We have to move forward. We built on a lot last year, and I got to the AFC Championship. So I'm definitely looking to move forward and help my man Freeman try and challenge Fournette for that Russian title. That's my goal this year. Honestly, I'm going to let you know no secret. That's my goal. I want to try and get that Russian title. So I don't know if I can get it. It's going to be hard. It's not what I do, but, got to set hard goals for myself to try and progress.
I'm going to go ahead and say you do not get that because you get a little pass happy.
Fair enough. I wouldn't be surprised.
We're right back here with 2 picks left. Back to the Tennessee Titans. They got their defensive tackle Rashad Childs with the 29th pick. Boone talked building it inside out. I mean, Yost has talked about he lost Span, the offensive lineman. I'm thinking we're seeing offensive lineman here. It's just a matter of time before the commissioner gets to the podium. But, I mean, it's one of those teams that, there's not a lot of needs. He's almost just drafting to fill his depth chart up. And, I mean, if somebody does emerge or you get a guy that shows up in training camp and puts on a show, he might break into that starting lineup. It's a very talented team getting down here to the nitty-gritty, the last 2 picks of the first 2 rounds. I mean, these are our Super Bowl contenders, the Titans and the Cowboys. Justin, are they just drafting for depth here, like I said, or can you find something that can help you day one at the end of the first round?
No, I think yes and no. I think that you look for that guy that can potentially help you, right off the bat. I don't know why I stuttered right there, but you definitely aren't missing. I guess my point is if you draft somebody that ends up being a couple year backup and learning behind somebody that's already there. But of course, I mean, I don't care if it's in the first round or the 7th round. You are absolutely always drafting for that next stud. So if he's able to find them in the early 30s, that's a steal.
All righty. Well, I think they're getting ready to get the pick in here. We're not ready to get the pick in yet. But I'm good to go there. We're getting down here. This has been an awesome draft. Not one of our most talented drafts, but I think differentiating from all the other ones, we've had a very, I think we've been able to find value players deep in the draft here, which is always good. Alrighty. Boone, I mean, looking back here, is there anybody that kind of sticks out to you that the pick is in, never mind. It is Gerard Shaw out of Louisville, the 22-year-old left tackle, B+ impact block, only 30 reps at the bench press, but he's got some nice speed attributes here. I kind of see this guy slide inside the guard. Justin, do you go ahead and agree with that, or do you think Gerard Shaw is a left tackle in the XCFL?
I think.
Oh boy.
I'll be Justin today.
I got you real quick. Hold on. I got you.
Go ahead.
So basically, he's gonna slide the right tackle. You want to know why? Because Batiste ate up Jack Conklin on the right tackle when we played. That had to have left the mark. I'm sure it left the mark. So I'm gonna tell you right now, in that game, Jack Conklin lost his role as a starting right tackle. He moves in
big words
in week 1. I guarantee it.
Jack Conklin is an absolute stud offensive lineman that has been in the XFL.
I gave him 8 sacks. I'm just saying, and an XCFL record.
Oh boy, yeah, I remember.
All right.
I remember that game. We will go ahead and move on here. The last pick in the draft, the Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl champions, back to back. We all know the story here. I mean, Justin, I think what you hit the nail on the head here earlier when you said it's about time they start drafting to kind of help out that offensive line that's aging. We all know coming into this Madden that offensive line was just stud-like. Is this where they go here?
I think that they should. I think there are still – honestly, I'm looking at my offensive line class, and I still have like 8 or 10 guys who I think could be drafted here, and all probably, deservedly. I think they're all very good players. I think that you have to start looking at it, though. I mentioned it earlier, and you just mentioned it again. This was a team that was honestly just completely stacked from the get-go, but you have to start looking at replacing some of those older bodies.
Man, basically saying Josh has no talent in this game, and it's his team that's winning him all these games, huh?
Hey, listen, sometimes sometimes it is what it is. And
boy.
I think that Josh is a very talented user, but that team is unbelievable to start.
Let's hope he doesn't play the NFC West this year and just –
it'll be the same outcome whether I talk or
Well, the pick is in, and they go with the guy you mentioned earlier. Lou Riddick has his number 2 left tackle, but it's Brady Karstens out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin has had 5 or 6 picks in this first round. I don't know what they're doing down there. They're doing something right. B+ impact block, B pass block, the fastest 40-yard dash, and 32 reps of the combine. Boone, do you like the Brady Karstens pick here for the Dallas Cowboys?
Steroids. Whatever's going on in Wisconsin, clearly something. It's like an epidemic because
I think they got a Russian head coach.
Clearly, they're running fast. They're benching the most. Have you not noticed the trend here? Not saying there's something in the water, but those water bottles are tainted. They breed really strong, big guys. Like that's the country out there. They have nothing to do but to eat and play football. So they grow up in like their culture is to eat and play football and be big boys. And so, that's just what Wisconsin is known for. Even in real life, if you look at them, they put out a bunch of good linemen, like a bunch of like physical players who play really hard and they always compete. They might not have the best team, but they always compete very well because they always have that front line secured. So, I think this is an outstanding pick. The Cowboys, like you said, have an aging line. When they come in, they're in their primes. Like I'm talking like 25, 26. So now that they're getting up there, it's time to start looking towards the future so you don't pay out these contracts to these players who think they deserve way more than they should, i.e. Josh Doxson, even though he's a receiver. But you definitely have to start planning for the future and making sure that you get this taken care of. And he's a great place to start,
Alrighty, well, that concludes our first round and our draft coverage for this year. Real quick, Justin, because I know you have a pick coming up in a few here. We're going to just recap. Who is your favorite pick in the draft, if you haven't written down or if you remember anybody that you think will make a splash in the XCFL this year?
I think if I had to pick one person, it's I think it's going to be Quaxia, which is it's fun to say, obviously, but
for the Bengals.
Yeah, the dude is. He's fast. He's strong. He's got kind of all the size grade is obviously going to be off the charts, but I think more importantly is that he's got A-, B+. Like he's going to be a solid player right off the bat.
And Boone, same question to you, sir. Who, other than any of your players, are the guy that stands out this year for the XCFL in the first round?
If you want to be honest, I got 2. So my man Nunley in Washington is going to be a star. I'm telling you now. He's a can't miss player, which I didn't understand how he was rated a 4th round. He was easily a top 20 player in this draft. So the tape shows it. Tape don't lie. And then also, I'm gonna surprise you with this. Waller in New York is gonna have a great year because he's coming in to replace Odell. I know the new owner is gonna look to try and get someone to lead this offense, and with him shipping out a couple players, bringing in a couple players. He's going to look for someone to come in and be that face of the franchise. And Waller's that perfect guy because he's so fast. Now, if he stays healthy, that's another question. I'm skeptical about that. But as long as he stays healthy, I don't see why this kid can't be one of the top league this year for yards. Like, he's just going to come in and have that many targets. Going to be that popular. So if he puts his nose to the road and keeps working, I don't see why he can't be the greatest, receiver.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up our draft coverage, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish everybody the best of luck this year in season 14 of the XCFL. Good luck to everybody, and we are out of here. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed the show.